Alright, I'm back with some new manga reviews, and this time we'll be diving into the occult and dark world of edgy demon manga. Every manga here is sourced from recommendations in YouTube comment sections from videos just like this one. That's right, here on Japanophile we have a monthly manga review covering 3 separate manga series every month, as the name would imply. So go ahead and leave a manga recommendation for series to cover in future videos, and take the time to vote in our Twitter poll for next month's batch of series. With that out of the way, let's go straight to hell and read some demonic manga. What do you get when you seal away an ancient demon into the body of your average Japanese salaryman? You get the Yokai King, Oniwakamaru. Yeah, he's a yokai, and demons in this are yokai, but he counts. Oh, he definitely counts. The yokai in this are grotesquely modernized, and I'm here for it. I feel like at least once a video I mention that I love creature designs, but maybe that's because I just keep reading edgy monster manga. Real quick, let's recap Oniwakamaru. Tachibana Hitori is the newborn sole survivor of a plane crash, and it is just dawning on me that Hitori might be a pun on that shit. This plane crash was orchestrated to unseal the king of yokai, Oniwakamaru. Jumping ahead to modern day, Tachibana is just your average guy with an average wife going about his average day, until he is ambushed by yokai. He quickly discovers his superhuman abilities and his demonic partner sealed within him. From there, the series goes on various adventures, not too dissimilar from anything like Garo, especially with the transformation sequence. Oniwakamaru gives off strong tokusatsu hero vibes, but I think what makes it work so well is the interaction between our lead character and the title character. Tachibana and Oniwakamaru share a body Ultraman style, and because of the friction between their two minds, they end up playing off each other very well. Tachibana is the wholesome good boy who just wants to lead a happy life. Oniwakamaru is an edgy demon lord who needs to prove his strength at every opportunity. It's the tried and true opposites working together story, but it definitely works here. Moments where Tachibana has to hold Oniwakamaru that was bound to happen, really. There are moments where Tachibana has to hold Oniwakamaru back from going all out, and that might be a little cliche, but I eat that shit up. There are also times where Oniwakamaru will chime in and interrupt Tachibana's personal life, and every single time that it happens, it's pretty funny. Early on, we get glimpses at Tachibana's wife, Yuki, and I think once she was brought into the main cast more, the series really started to carve out its own niche. I really like that Yuki sees so much of this yokai and demon stuff firsthand, but never bats an eye. Of course, without spoiling anything, there's a reason for that, but I would still say her and Tachibana's relationship is unique enough that I wanted to mention it. She isn't even scared the first time she sees Oniwakamaru. Tachibana never tries to hide anything relating to demons and his powers from her, and they have a very healthy relationship. It's the kind of functioning, mature, and adult relationship that you don't see from many manga. But that's not to say that this manga is entirely focused on the relationship between these two. I mean, in all honesty, it's a subplot. Where the series really shines are its modernized takes on yokai and its twists on Japanese history and mythology. This gives the manga its own sort of unique flavor. You might be able to get the basic superhero-esque setup in a lot of different places, but you're not going to find something as specifically like Oniwakamaru. However, now I have to get into the negative, but there's only one complaint that I really have, and its length. Oniwakamaru is only 4 volumes long, and that 4th volume sneaks up on you. Suddenly I realized I was reading the final battle, and went, huh? That was fast. It doesn't feel unfinished, but it feels rushed. There aren't plot lines left hanging, it just feels like it should have been a longer series. The setup allows for plenty of episodic stories, but by the 3rd volume, the manga is already rushing into its final act. The final act, which of course takes up the entirety of its 4th volume. Take it for what it is, I guess. Maybe the only real complaint that I have about Oniwakamaru is that there isn't more of it, which is really the best complaint an author could get. And that's why, for quality, this series is getting a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it's a solid manga that doesn't have too many surprises, but you won't be disappointed. I should also mention here that the art is great. There's a lot of horrifying detail put into the yokai, but the series really excels at its action, and this should be no surprise. Saruwatari Tetsuya is the author behind Rikyo, which really should have its own place in a edgy manga video, or perhaps a movie review, but maybe another day. As for the edge, Oniwakamaru, King of Yokai, is getting a 3 out of 5. Most of that rating is gore. In all fairness, most of the killing is being done to unnamed bystanders, and it's being done by villains. What looks like a razor-sharp edge on the surface is actually softer than you would expect. And I think that's best exemplified in Tachibana and Oniwakamaru. The latter might look terrifying, but on the inside, he's still got a human heart. Demon Lord Dante, or Mao Dante, is an early manga by legendary creator Go Nagai. He should really need no introduction, but in case you didn't know, he basically created the fundamentals of mecha with Mazinger Z, was an inspiration for all those desert apocalypses with Violence Jack, and his work Devilman is possibly one of manga's greatest masterpieces. And Mao Dante was the prototype for all 3 of those highly influential series that I just listed. But how is it on its own? Well, Mao Dante is an early Go Nagai manga. Wow. Mao Dante is an early Go Nagai manga. Not his earliest, but it is certainly close. And if you've read any other Go Nagai series, you'll see the parallels almost immediately. Our protagonist, Ryo Itsugi, dreams of the titular demon lord trapped in ice, only to one day wake him up and immediately be eaten by it. While Itsugi should be assimilated by Dante, he instead takes control over him. And all this happens while Satanists run around in the background trying to kill Itsugi's sister, and the demon lord runs amok big kaiju style. And in these scenes, I was reminded a lot of Godzilla and the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. When you get down to it, a big part of Mao Dante is just a demonic-themed kaiju story, and I think that's pretty fun on its own. However, all this changes in the 2nd volume, where we meet a character named Medusa, who reveals that human souls are actually pieces of God, and they're all evil. Utsugi is actually the reincarnation of Dante, a man from a proto-civilization that fused his space jet together with 2 dinosaurs to become Mao Dante. And Medusa herself is the reincarnation of Medusa. Who else would it be, honestly? She and Dante end the manga vowing to exterminate humanity. It is possibly the most Nagai of Nagai endings, from the destruction of Earth to the absurd connections to Greek mythology. It's hard to say if Mao Dante is a good manga on its own, and this is mainly because all of its good ideas are used better in other series, and all of its bad ideas are the ones that didn't stick around. It's an interesting manga, and if you're a Nagai fan, it's worth checking out, but Everything here is just a little underdeveloped. It's kind of like eating a steak before it's been fully cooked. If only there was a manga out there that could take those ideas and make them into something good. Well, if it isn't Mao Dante from the Mao Dante franchise.
Hey, did you forget there's a 2002 Mao Dante series?
Well, in that case then, that's right, you're getting 2 manga reviews for the price of 1. To coincide with the anime adaptation, Go Nagai remade Mao Dante into a 4-volume series. It fleshes out pretty much every aspect of the story, but what I think is more interesting is the details that it chooses to keep. Everything that didn't work about Mao Dante is here in the remake, but this time it's foreshadowed properly and we get a whole volume focusing on the proto-civilization's downfall before the story actually catches up to the start of the original manga. Likewise, we have almost a volume's worth of content taking place after where the original would have ended, giving the series a proper conclusion, but still a very Nagai conclusion. The remake focuses on all the elements that didn't make it into other Nagai manga, creating a version of Mao Dante that's much more distinct from Devilman and Mazinger Z, and I think it's all the better for that. It's weird to say, but it looks like it took everything that was broken and made it work. So Mao Dante, the original and the remake, are worth a read just as Go Nagai series, but are they edgy? And are they good? Well, let's answer that first question right away, because both series are getting a 5 out of 5 in edge. The overall conclusions that both series come to is that humanity can, will, and should be wiped out, because that's a good thing. Mao Dante revels in its edginess, and it's not trying to make a deeper statement. Humanity is evil because a long time ago humans were given souls that were actually fragments of an evil alien god. Any questions? The guy really just seemed to enjoy swapping around the Christian morality. God, unquestionably evil. Demons, the rightful heirs to Earth. This throws Mao Dante's morality so far out of whack that you just have to kind of accept that this is the way things really should be in Dante's universe. But quality for these 2 series is where the biggest difference is. Let me just say, I enjoyed how crazy Mao Dante got by the end, for either of them. I can't believe that a series would go so far off the rails that we wouldn't even be able to see the tracks anymore. So maybe if Mao Dante was the simple demonic Godzilla story it was from Volume 1, I would be kinder to it. But in reality, the original Mao Dante is underdeveloped and unfinished. So it's getting a 2 out of 5 in quality. Still worth a look if you're looking for early Nagai. But the remake I found to be much more competent, and maybe this was just because I had the groundwork laid for it, but I really enjoyed how the remake developed on the ideas that were underexplored in the original. And for that, the 2002 Mao Dante series is getting a 3 out of 5. Don't go in expecting anything on the level of Nagai's best. It never hit me emotionally like Devilman did, but I did have fun with both of these extremely edgy series. If you want a longer and more detailed version of the final battle from Devilman, then I would say definitely check out the 2002 Mao Dante series. Go in with the right expectations and you won't be disappointed. Chainsaw Man is Tatsuki Fujimoto's second long-running series, his first being covered in EDGY Manga Volume 2, so consider this a sequel to that of sorts. When I said that I loved Fire Punch, it got a lot of people to suggest Chainsaw Man to me, and to be honest, I was a little wary at first, with it being an ongoing series with regular updates. In the grand scheme of things, we're probably in the middle of Chainsaw Man right now. It's at a point where the manga has proven its worth past the initial setup, but we're still pretty far from the end goal. So my curiosity got the better of me and I dug into Chainsaw Man, which turned out to be insanely good. I know, big shocker. The titular Chainsaw Man is Denji, a down-on-his-luck kid who tries his hand at being a civilian devil hunter only to be horribly killed in the first chapter. But as fate would have it, Denji fuses together with his pet chainsaw dog devil, becoming a half-human, half-demon hybrid Chainsaw Man. After being taken in by the public safety organization, Denji is committed to living his life to its fullest as a professional devil hunter, all while being strung along by Makima for her mysterious motives. This series does share a lot in common with Fire Punch, but it has yet to go full existential nihilism. And I don't really see it going down that road yet. Don't get me wrong, Fujimoto is not holding anything back, especially by the standards of Shonen Jump, but I don't see this going full suffering until the end. The thing is that Chainsaw Man puts presentation before everything else. The plot itself could be a generic demon hunter story, but the presentation and style that Fujimoto has make Chainsaw Man what it is. It has elements of the surreal, the magical real, but it's not going crazy with it. I think this was especially apparent in the world that Chainsaw Man builds for itself. It's a world not unlike something you'd find in a Shin Megami Tensei game, particularly a devil summoner game. But the devils that Chainsaw Man hunts aren't based on any religion. Instead, they're based on people's fears. The more potent and prevalent a fear is, the more powerful a demon is. It's a detail that's only added later, but I think it's little touches like this that give Chainsaw Man its own flavor. Not to mention that pretty much every demonic power we see is implemented in a unique and interesting way. It's not just that the fox demon acts as someone's Pokemon, they gotta do that hand perspective shit to make it bite someone's head off. It's not just a shark demon, it's a literal street shark demon. And in comparison, it feels a lot more sincere with its superpowered people than Fire Punch did. In Fire Punch, there was a deliberate subversive element to the characters that had superpowers. And in Chainsaw Man, it feels like Fujimoto has been there and done that with subverting those tropes, so now he might as well have fun with them instead. Likewise, Denji is very far removed from Agni. Agni was hung up on how to die, Denji is trying to live for the very first time. In a lot of ways, this has been a coming-of-age story for Denji, and I'm excited to see where it's going. But there's one character that I have to mention. It would be a disservice not to mention her. Everyone online and in Japan is talking about her, particularly everyone that reads this falls in love with her. It's Kobene. Just kidding, it's Power. Power fans have been some of the most vocal and most annoying members of the series following, but they also have the best taste. Power is a QT, and nothing will change that. So with that said, let's talk about Edge. Fire Punch had a 5 out of 5 on the edgy scale, and Chainsaw Man is getting a 4 out of 5 for right now. We'll bump it up later if we have to, but I don't see it going down anytime soon. With the series taking a brief visit to hell, it's already crafted a refined Edge. In fact, I would say that it has the potential to become edgier than Fire Punch, if only for the fact that Chainsaw Man revels in the blood, guts, and gore, while its former series takes a more somber and thoughtful approach. But I'm not going to give Chainsaw Man a quality rating, only because it's new and updates so frequently. Instead, we're going to look at this as a pass-fail. Should you read Chainsaw Man, or is it not worth your time? And I think you can tell by now, Chainsaw Man passes. So far, the series has gone through multiple story arcs that all have their own little conclusions, and at the time of this recording, it's just finishing up an arc now, so it's up to you whether you want to keep reading week to week or wait until an arc wraps up, but I think both are valid methods. This is in a weekly Shonen Jump, so you're not going to be waiting berserk levels of hiatuses between chapters. The 3 most recent chapters are posted to Manga Plus, and you can legally read them there. And if you want to catch up on the other chapters, you can do that through other means. Alright, I swear this was a complete accident. It actually was a complete accident. But there are some interesting comparisons to draw from all 3 series here. First of which, each one involves their protagonist fusing with a demon to fight other demons. Mao Dante ends up being the most pro-demon, while Oniwakamaru is probably the least. But despite this similar setup, the way demons are depicted between all 3 is vastly different. Oniwakamaru is entirely themed around a yokai, drawing from Japanese mythology and legend. Mao Dante is a mishmash of Western demons and Greek mythology because Go Nagai is really into that shit. And Chainsaw Man is the most unique, not really taking from anything mythological, but instead making the demons more personal. The conclusions to Oniwakamaru and Mao Dante are also on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Dante has the whole human race wiped out, while the victory in Oniwakamaru is won by the titled demon having a shred of humanity inside of him. So yeah, there's not much of a conclusion to all this, so much as I thought there were some interesting parallels in the portrayal of demons in manga. Anyways, that wraps up this monthly manga review. Please leave any and all manga recommendations in the comments below, and vote for the next batch of series in my Twitter poll. Next month, we'll be going old school with EDGY manga by Osamu Tezuka. Till then, stay Genki.